USA committed to further strengthen its commercial diplomacy with Africa. A senior official in the Bureau of African Affairs at the U.S. Department of State, Troy Fitrell, USA is resolute in its decision to strengthen its commercial diplomacy with Africa. In his keynote address at the ongoing USA-Africa Summit in Luanda, the capital city of Angola, Ambassador Troy highlighted the USA's interest in shifting its foreign policy toward business deals under the new Trump administration.
Africa is not the same place it was 25 years ago. And that's why this conference, this summit, has evolved over the 28 years we've been doing this. And that's why our relationships evolve over the 25 years that we've been doing this. When we met many of us met in Abidjan at the CEO Forum last month, and we unveiled a new commercial strategy for the United States government. And we did that because the world has changed, the United States has changed, markets have changed. The economies are vastly different today than they were 25 years ago. And we felt that we needed to have those kinds of changes in our US government activities.
Furthermore, the ambassador emphasized that significant investment partnership in infrastructure, including digital infrastructure, is crucial for Africa's effective participation in the modern economy. Therefore, the ambassador called on African business stakeholders and governments.
We are focused on the latest technology, the latest innovation. We invest in our workforces. We provide value over a life cycle. I always like to say that the General Electric Wabtec locomotives, 95% of all the locomotives ever built are still operating today, even the ones that are 60, 70 years old, because when you buy one, you buy for life. We have these opportunities, these kinds of investments. When you go look at an American company, you don't find Americans working on the shop floor. You find locals. But it's not just there. You find the technicians, the financiers, the accountants. You go into the boardrooms and you find locals there, because investing in the human capital is a fundamentally American way of doing business.
Ethiopian President Haile Selassie held discussions with Masud Boulos, senior advisor for Africa to U.S. President Donald Trump, on the sidelines of a U.S.-Africa Business Summit currently taking place in Luanda, Angola. Approached by ENA, Deputy Director of European and America Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Muley Terken said the discussion focused on ways to further strengthen the long-standing bilateral partnership between Ethiopia and the United States. The discussion also emphasized the importance of consolidating the two countries' business diplomacy, particularly trade and investment, within the framework of the U.S.'s recent focus on commercial diplomacy toward Africa. The sides have also thoroughly discussed regional issues such as peace and development. The U.S. Africa Business Summit is currently underway in Luanda, Angola, where President Haile Selassie of Ethiopia has held significant bilateral discussions with representatives and executives from U.S. and other international companies.
Ethiopian Investment Holdings, U.S. International Finance Partners Inc. MOU. The Ethiopian Investment Holdings signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU, with U.S. International Finance Partners in Luanda, Angola in the presence of President Haile Selassie. The signing took place on the sidelines of the U.S.-Africa Business Summit underway in Luanda. The MOU was signed by Bruk Tay, the CEO of Ethiopian Investment Holdings, and Garrett Gish, the President and CEO of U.S. International Finance Partners. At the event, President Haile Selassie praised the two parties for reaching the agreement. The agreement, with a total capital of over $200 million, aims to explore potential opportunities and create collaborations for developing and operating a luxury hotel, other related facilities, and branded residences in
further
Ethiopia.
promoting Ethiopian tourism, which is strong and robust
The
relationship.
CEO of Ethiopian Investment Holdings, Bruk Tay, on the occasion said that Ethiopia has positioned itself as a tourism and conference destination and has hosted several international events.
A destination for tourism, conferences, and events across the world. In the past 1 year, we have successfully hosted several major global events, and for that to continue, we need to invest in the hospitality sector. It's a great pleasure for us to partner with IFP to develop hospitality sector in Ethiopia by building world-class 5-star hotel. We estimate the investment to be in the north of $200 million.
Garrett Gish, the president and CEO of U.S. International Finance Partners, noted that the MOU is in line with the new Trump administration.
U.S. private equity group, leveraging U.S. institutional capital predominantly to invest in African markets. It's probably not something that is said much, unfortunately, in the context of the African continents. And it's something that we look to really utilize our platform as a catalyst for institutional dollars to come in. When it comes to the Ethiopian market, it is one of the most compelling markets on the African continent. EIH as an institution, I think, is one of the most compelling institutions to work with, and I can tell you that unequivocally I've worked with a lot of institutions across the African continent, and the rhetoric internal with my team and tangentially related teams as part of our broader consortium have echoed that same sentiment with the focus and drive and motivation to do big things and position Ethiopia as a leader within the context of the African continent.
Ethiopia, Angola express commitment to enhance bilateral ties, advance African cause. Ethiopia and Angola reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening bilateral and multilateral ties, and to enhancing African leadership on the global stage. Ethiopian President Haile Selassie confers with the President of Angola and the current chairperson of the African Union on the sidelines of the U.S.-Africa Business Summit in Luanda, Angola. The two leaders discussed areas in which they could further expand and strengthen their bilateral and multilateral relations, said Zerahun Abib, Director General of African Affairs at the Ministry of Ethiopian Foreign Affairs. Both leaders emphasized the importance of strengthening ties through institutional structures and agreed to invigorate the previously established Joint Ministerial Committee immediately, he elaborated.